Right, so let's catch everyone up now on the Pirate Software drama, on the ultra lol cow. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm not going to watch this on stream, but I have watched this one. This video right here, the He's Mad video. Pirate Software has decided that because Quinthio is sailing on the sailing the seas of the devastate the roachware, that it's time to start pushing back. It's gotten personal now. And if I'm being honest, some of the claims that Roach Software makes about Quinthio seem fucking ridiculous, and it seems like he's trying to ruin this man's life so he shuts the fuck up. Who? Okay, so who is that Harry Potter? Okay, very astute observation, Drav. But let me make this clear. This guy's a slop tuber. He does drama. He does a lot of drama. This is his base. This is him building what is his career on YouTube, right? Every piece of drama you ever need to know about Pirate Software, this man has covered it. He has done so many fucking videos on Pirate Software. This man is the fucking Library of Alexandria of every single thing that Pirate Software has ever done. If you want to know the full drama, you go to Quinthio's channel and you look at everything here, and you will be fully caught up. Now, granted, watching all these videos might give you a fucking stroke. Those thumbnails are Mr. Beast level of clickbait. Yes. And you know why he does them, Faith? Because they fucking work. But this guy has every single piece of information you need. And this man is going to have to hold a funeral when Pirate Software is no longer relevant, because he's going to have to find someone else to beat the fucking brakes off of. The recent update to this is that Pirate Software has gone out of his way to try and dox Quinthio, as far as I'm aware, is to try and attack him, to DMCA claim him, to make him look horrific. And he's managed to get whatever's left of his community together to try and harass this man. And so this guy made an hour-long video going through every single little thing that Pirate Software said against him. Did against him. And this is the video after that. Now, we have seen the Twitter posts before of another one of the people who dealt with Pirate Software in his office losing their fucking shit on Twitter, revealing Pirate Software to be a complete fucking asshole. Thanks for the follow, X-Rock. The thing about this, in particular, is that this is now... Okay, so the first person who came out on Twitter and made a bunch of posts about Pirate Software was his ex-lover / buttboy, and most of that was bullshit, right? The most I got out of that was that Pirate Software knows how to goon on a Discord call for 13 hours, that he'll have sex with men, which, fine, who gives a shit, and that his ex was a salty piece of shit and leaked every single DM they ever had, and that Pirate Software didn't want to be cucked. The second person to come out and post a bunch of shit on Twitter about him was a coworker who was eternally mad at all the fucking things that Pirate Software did in the office that pissed them the fuck off. Now, his ex-roommate. This is getting personal. You don't go and find someone's ex-roommate unless you have a vindictive bone in your body and you're ready to take some personal fucking shots against someone. Did you see part 2 of that interview? No, I didn't. I haven't seen this interview with this roommate at all. I didn't even know there was a part 2. I'm going to say this now, right? Every single one of you, me included, has skeletons in their closet. If you went and spoke to my ex tomorrow, she would say the most fucked up shit about me. Most of it would be lies, but she would say the most fucked up shit about me. If you went and talked to someone who dated someone else, broke up with them, had a bad relationship, you bet money people would be like talking hot shit about them. That happens all the time. So, what I'm hoping to get out of this video is I'm hoping that the ex stays professional. I hope they talk about like any like personally creepy or fucked up shit. And it's not just stuff like, Pirate Software didn't wash the dishes that one time, and I had to do it. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about they had a personal argument. I want to hear actionable shit that's actually a problem. Now let's find out if that's true or not.
Ex-coworker and roommate of Pirate Software. Now, you guys saw the first part of that interview last week when I talked about the terms of services. This person had worked at Twitch for 8 years, as well as working at Blizzard alongside Pirate Software. I figured the information was so different from the beginning of our interview to the end of it that I wanted to separate it between two separate parts. And I apologize for this one not coming out sooner, which if you want more info on that entire debacle, check out my last video. But we go into detail from Pirate Software even on his first day on the job, apparently just browsing Reddit. For a man that says that he didn't get his job through nepotism the second time, which is when this would have taken place, it doesn't really line up.
And like, this is kind of my whole career, right? My first job I got through nepotism, 100%. My dad worked at Blizzard for 20.
How is it that he admits it here and then later says that this never happened?
3 years. Then I came back to Blizzard in 2009 and I applied, not having his help in any way. I got the job.
More than that, though, we dive into the roommate's experience.
Also, I've been thinking about this, right? He didn't get his job with his dad's help. I've been thinking about this. Pirate Software doesn't understand how nepotism works. I completely, this blindsided me the first time I missed it. Pirate Software doesn't actually understand how nepotism works. No one needs to say anything because it's all about the implication, right? His dad is very important at Blizzard. And so the implication is that if anyone moves against Pirate Software or doesn't hire him, his dad is then going to have a vendetta against those people. Right? It's like you don't even need to speak about it. You just need to have a family member who's in a position of power, and nepotism's naturally going to occur. I hate nepotism so fucking much. You know what the funny part is, Jimmy? Nepotism doesn't actually have to be a bad thing. It genuinely doesn't. To give you an example, I knew a guy in school whose dad used to like run a chain of restaurants, right? And his dad was like a super cool guy. His dad ran a family chain of restaurants. They treated their workers well. They paid them a living wage. They kept their business open during COVID. They did everything in their power to take care of their workers. Now, that guy I went to school with inherited that business from his dad, right? He started working there as a manager after going to university. He did everything in his power to make his dad proud. He is now the owner of that restaurant chain, and he's just as good of an owner as his dad. And he got that job through nepotism. And if I had a conversation with that guy tomorrow, he would tell me, yeah, of course I got my job through nepotism. My dad owned the business, and I wanted to make my dad proud, so I did everything in my power to keep this business going after my dad retired. And I can respect that, because he 100% admits and accepts to the idea that he got that because of his dad. And his whole thing is, I want to make my dad proud. I want to make my family proud. I'm going to build this business. And he has. He's made the business even better than his dad did. That's nepotism. And I don't really see that much of a problem with that. What I do see a problem with is when there's nepotism and the father cares, but the son's a piece of shit. Or the kid who's inheriting it is a piece of shit, with zero interest in the business, gets away with fucking murder nonstop, and then pretends like there never was any nepotism in the first place. I can also respect that kind of thing is super fucking tainted here in these states. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Is like this whole idea of handing off a business to your kid that you've built, and you say, I'm trusting you to build this better than I did, is something, I think that's something we need to lean into more. I think family-owned businesses are a great way to go. Fuck, my favorite restaurant that I go to is this little mom and pop Chinese place. They have a son, and he's like now in that position where he's transitioning into being the owner of that restaurant, and they make the fucking best food I've ever had. And he's doing an amazing job. He's doing his best for that business. And I'm so happy that he's not just dumping the business on his parents and then abandoning it. I'm so relieved by that, because if I'm being honest, that food, fuck, I don't think I could live without that food. It's so good. Ask Jarek Dan where it is. He'll know.
Experiences and how they only ended up lasting about a week before putting their foot down and saying that Pirate needed to leave. But with all of that out of the way, just last two things. Number one, shout out to my parents and my brother and my fiance's parents, as they grouped together and got this really cool neon sign, which unfortunately
cool.
flickers. So I don't know if you guys will see it in another video, but it looks really sick. Special.
That's pretty cool. If he got that himself, I would call that cringe. And very, very narcissistic. But if someone else gets it for you, then it's pretty cool. Because that means they support you in what you're doing in your career. How many of you, if you told your dad or your mom tomorrow that he wanted to do YouTube as a job or live streaming or some shit like that, how many of them would be like, I'm so proud of you? They would just beat you with a fucking belt and say, not in this house, bitch. That's the more likely outcome.
Thank you to them. They got it as a surprise because the channel's been doing well recently. So thank you again to all of you if you're watching. And lastly, if you're new here, consider subscribing. It really helps out trying to hit 100K by the end of the year. We're about to hit 80, which is insane. But just that single press of a button helps me a great deal. And if you end up hating me later, it's just another button tap away. Also, liking the video helps out. So if you find the information in this video useful, give it a thumbs up, get other people to see it. But regardless of if you do any of that,
okay,
thank you for watching.
Slow.
Nice to meet you. If you could just kind of give your name and then just kind of your experience.
Thanks for the follow, NRK. But okay, that's surprising. That is genuinely surprising to me. I didn't expect the roommate to be a woman. I didn't expect that. Because honestly, I kind of would have expected that a woman would like see him and like have a conversation with Pirate and be like, there's no fucking way I want this guy around me. Not with that attitude. Genuinely. So, I mean, fuck, maybe she was in a bad position. Maybe she was desperate. I mean, she did work at Blizzard, and Blizzard is famously known for underpaying their employees what they're worth. So, granted, I understand.
With Twitch and just kind of your experience with Pirate, everything in between that you think would be relevant to what we're going to talk about today.
Hi, my name's Cynthia Hall. I go by Ludiana Online. I am a lifelong...
Cynthia Hall. Wait, hold on. Also, I just realized I'm doing this on my second channel. Hold on, let me switch accounts here. Cynthia, is this like a family member? Is she related to Pirate? No relation, there's no... Okay, so it's just coincidence that she ends up with the same surname as him. That's a dude. Everyone's a dude on the internet, Barrow. That's the safest thing you can think. Are those Majora's masks on the wall? No, that's from Diablo. I think that's Leoric, the Skeleton King, maybe. And this one, I think that's just like a generalized cutesy mask. Otherwise, that's from a video game, I don't know. I see doubles in the background. The worst doubles. I see Hearthstone, pretty decent, solid game. We see the scented, this smells like my vagina cam. We got some anime pics going on here. I don't understand what this is. This is probably a note. This is a reflected scene, right? So she hasn't reflected the camera, so or she has reflected the camera, but this is reversed.
kind of your experience with Twitch and just kind of your experience with Pirate, everything in between that you think would be relevant to what we're going to talk about today.
Hi, my name's Cynthia Hall. I go by Ludiana Online. I am a lifelong artisan cosplayer. I worked for 5 years at Blizzard and then 8 years at Twitch. And I happen to work with Pirate Software at Blizzard as his Wrangler on Diablo 3.
Really quick, number.
That's a hard start. That she called herself his Wrangler. Jesus Christ. Remember, this interview's just started. I think we're about to hear some shit.
Number one, you share a last name, but number two, Wrangler. So what is that? What does that mean to be a Wrangler for someone during? So you said it was during Diablo 3 testing?
Yes. Basically, what happened is we share the same last name. That's why I don't mind sharing my last name. When I joined the company, they literally thought that we were related.
Wait, same wording here as the tweet thread. Wait, is this the same person? I thought that was a different person. This is the same person as the tweet thread we read. Is that what you're telling me? It's the same person with the anime profile picture. Okay, so it is a dude. So she does have a dick like a horse. Oof. Oof. Hey, remember when we were talking about the word engineer when it came to Mutahar? Oof. What a poisonous word this has become this year. Jesus Christ.
Because I have a couple of years on him, so they thought that I was his older sister, and they thought that with me coming in, I could potentially handle him, and he would be less.
Oh, that's bad. So basically, they put her in charge of him because they thought she was his sister, and she could then do a better job at controlling him. You have to go back and watch the last stream to see what Mutahar did, Lord Fitna. Oh, that's bad luck. That's rolling a 1 on the table. That's a critical fail. Poor woman.
Of a problem if we were working together.
So
this was a thing that I had to clarify like day one of me moving onto the team.
So this was the assumption was, oh, okay, they're siblings. She can kind of
yes. And he'll be less of a problem because we're related and I could go tell daddy.
That's really funny. With him,
Jesus.
So with this him being a problem. Now, was that unique to Pirate or is that just to speak to every new person coming into the company?
That was speaking to him, and it was not that he was an HR violation problem. Don't get me wrong. He's very charismatic. He is easy to get along with socially. However, he was very neglectful.
He's charismatic and he's easy to get along with socially. Okay, this makes a lot more sense now.
Full of actual work. He was hard to rein in. He was hard to get to focus on anything important. Like he wanted to do what he wanted to do. And it wasn't like he was a jerk about it. Like I don't want to misconstrue that at all. I'm sure everybody has seen his streams. Like he pulls off the personality. You know, like he's nice to.
Oh no, I know that kind of person. Based autism unification. Unironically, Benji, I never thought that having autism would be an advantage, but it might start being one in the future. So basically, okay, because I've had to study like workplace dynamics and stuff, this is such a bad thing, is that he's nice, but he doesn't do the job you want. So when you call him out on his shit, you look like the bad guy. I know how workplace dynamics work because of what I've done in the past and the work I've done. That is so fucking rough to deal with. So basically, because he's nice to everyone socially, but doesn't do what he's supposed to do, if you say, stop your fucking shit, I want you to complete these KPIs, I want you to complete these bullet point tasks, go and fucking do this, and come back to me later, then all of a sudden, she's the bad guy. Or him. I don't know. I don't know at this point.
To his coworkers. Yeah. He wanted to do what he wanted to do.
When we're talking about what's important for, let's say, for instance, the Diablo 3 testing, so what was the important stuff that he needed to take care of, and then what was he doing alternatively?
So I was also the person who wrote all of the test cases. He was on the monsters team with me. So we're talking dealing with all the spawns in the game, all the boss testing, having to do all the smoke tests whenever there were new builds, that just end to end, make a character run through to Skeleton King kill. Like that's just testing the build.
Skeleton King in Diablo 3 was like 5 minutes into the game. That was like at the very, very beginning, if I'm not misremembering this. Skeleton King was like the very first thing you did. Yeah, that was like the tutorial boss. Do I have that right, or am I misremembering this? I'm pretty sure it was like the first boss. Act 1 boss. Okay, so it is in the very beginning of the game. I remember Leoric. He was also one of my favorite characters in Heroes of the Storm.
Whatever the task was for the day, it could just be spawning different monsters and testing their affixes to see how they perform. That easy. But he would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and then redirect it. That's literally what he did. He sat in front of me and I was assigning the
Holy
tasks.
shit.
So not only did I see the work he was not doing, I saw what he was doing instead the entire time.
Okay, so sorry, to clarify,
Yeah.
he was redditing instead of doing his job, which was essentially instead of spawning in and just like running Skeleton King, which I know is like literally that first act, or just testing monster spawns. It was just him browsing Reddit.
How is it that you're given the easiest task on planet Earth? Hold on, I gotta hear that again. I'm not sure I heard that right.
Doing his job, which was essentially...
That's literally what he did.
Wait, what?
To Skeleton King. He was on the monsters team with me. So we're talking dealing with all the spawns in the game, all the boss testing, having to do all the smoke tests whenever there were new builds.
Smoke tests?
End to end, make a character run through to Skeleton King kill. Like, that's just testing the builds.
That is like the easiest shit ever. People do that for free on YouTube. What the fuck? People literally build up like 100-point list of everything that went wrong. Doing that for free on YouTube. Why did you need to hire a guy to do that?
Whatever the task was for the day, it could just be spawning different monsters and testing their affixes to see how they perform. That easy. But he would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and then redirect it. That's literally what he did.
Oh, Christ.
He sat in front of me and I was assigning the tasks. So not only did I see the work he was not doing, I saw what he was doing instead the entire time.
Okay, so sorry, to clarify, he was redditing instead of doing his job, which was essentially instead of spawning in and just like running Skeleton King, which I know is like literally that first act, or just testing.
Fuck, man. People do like, I don't understand. Why would you hire someone for that? People do that for free on YouTube. Yeah, Blizzard could have just been like Diablo 3 Act 1 and given it to like a bunch of beta testers for free. And they would have come back with every fucking bug under the sun. You know, Ashes of Creation's looking a little bit less crazy to me right now. With the fact that they charge people money for their alpha. This is making a lot more sense now. Because hired people have special programs to run in the background which capture logs of play. So when bugs... There's logs in the game! Alert. There's literally a log in the game of everything that happens. They don't need a special program. It's actually built into the game. When a bug happens, they describe the right way and time and steps. A programmer, you can check with that. Like, oh man, you could just strap that to the game. Seal it is right, but also dev builds exist. That's true. Actually, you know what, Seal, maybe you probably know more about this than me. So you know what, I'm willing to bet that I'm probably wrong with that, and there's a reason why. They would have someone internally test for that I just don't know about it. So, you know what, I'm probably wrong on that. There's probably something else going on there that I have no fucking idea what they're doing in the background there. That's very specific. It drives me insane thinking that you can get 100,000 people to test a game for free, or you can get them to pay you to test a game. And then this guy is just sitting there not doing his fucking job. He literally had one job. Dev build specifically for full testing, especially things like hidden... Okay, fair. Yeah, I'm glad you corrected me on that. Can't have beta testers if the permanent online feature needs you to connect to a server that doesn't exist yet. True. Also true. I'm wrong on that one.
Monster spawns. It was just him browsing Reddit.
Basically.
Jesus.
Because it was apparently too demanding of his time to
Now,
actually work.
was this immediate? Was this a gradual onset of more Redditor Thor coming out? Okay.
This was a constant. And it was to the point where in QA, we had a maximum of 2 displays. Like that was just your kit. You had 2 displays. If you had 3, it was because you had a Mac for testing. That's it. He requested a 3rd display because he claimed he needed it for his bots when he started doing some automation testing. He just wanted it to have the extra space for Reddit, YouTube, mail.
Do you know why? Right, so, hold on. Do you want to know why he didn't need a 3rd monitor? All he needed was a dog shit, cheap pair of Bluetooth earphones. Eva Lucille, goddammit, are you going to do the same thing as Jarek Dan and just keep following every single time? I've seen your name way too many times to not catch that one. All he needed.
In this, is there any, or is this strictly?
Yeah, this to be on Android and have any plans to.
Where is it?
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones.
He literally could have just whipped his phone out at his desk, Bluetooth speakers in his ears, YouTube and Reddit on his phone, 2 monitors to do his job, lock in, and do your fucking job while you're listening to whatever shit you're doing. Does he literally not have phones? Little bastard. What the fuck does he need an extra monitor for?
He just wanted the extra space.
Okay, totally fair.
I wish I was Mimi.
Jesus.
I am a huge slack ass, and I completely understand like the ADHD mentality of I just need stuff, and I also vibe code. Like I get it. If you're compiling, if you're running.
Was she using ChatGPT in Blizzard? No fucking way she meant that. She must have misspoke.
Bots, you probably want to do other stuff while something is.
How many screens you got again? Currently? 2 for this PC that runs the streaming stuff and that I do some job stuff on. And 3 over here. But I want to take this one PC monitor sitting over here, strap it to this PC. I still need to figure out how. Because for some reason it doesn't want to run off the motherboard. Put it just above the camera that's sitting over there. That way I can make sure I never miss any fucking alerts that any of you bastards send ever again.
Is running and just kind of observe the console. I get it. I know how these things work. But I'm saying like.
But you know what the difference is? If I've got a job to do, I'll do my fucking job first.
This dude was legit just ignoring the tasks at hand. We would sit like with the window divider between us. I would sit there watching my buddy, and he would watch me, and we would just be sitting there waiting for Jason to actually participate in the team tasks that we had been assigned.
And so why weren't you correcting it? Like if this was the entire way, like I would get fired if I was doing something like that.
Yeah. So that is the funny thing. I brought this up to my specialist who sat behind me. So it was specialist, me, Thor. He said, well, you could try to escalate it, but no one's going to do anything because I've tried to report it before. So I talked to my manager and I talked to one of the department heads. Like I talked.
It's the nepotism thing, isn't it? They literally could watch YouTube or have Pandora or Spotify on their computers for that kind of... They honestly could. I don't understand it. I'd like in a work environment on a PC that's not yours, that you go into an office. Holy shit, dude. How did these guys not have like a project manager or like some kind of manager that was overseeing that specific team? That was then like, this guy's fucking useless. He's not hitting any KPIs. He's just sitting there burning through time and dragging his whole team down. What was her fucking job? It seems like her job was to be his wrangler, and it wasn't working.
To the manager over the project. And I was essentially told that no one is going to do anything because of who he is. And this has nothing to do with Joey Ray directly. Like, I want to make this very clear. I'm also friends with Joey Ray. Like, he is a mutual friend of friends. Okay, so like I've had direct interactions. I know him well enough to say he would absolutely not do anything to help Jason. Like, he is not somebody who spoke to get him rehired. But here's how nepotism actually works, which Jason also doesn't understand. It does not look good on your future at Blizzard if you mess with an executive's son, period. Everybody knows who Jason is. If you write him up, if you fire...
Hold on, no, you dunce. That is her job. No, but that's... Oh. You're saying what was her job, and she's saying her job was to be his wrangler and to get him to do shit. That's what I understand from this. Can I explain dev builds for a second? No one cares. I mean, for anyone who wants to read that, they can, and you're probably getting more information out of that than what I know, because guess what? I'm not someone who's worked inside of coding or anything like that. I have worked with people before who have built video games, but guess what I did when I was working with those people? Is I did a little bit of mathematics for them, and I did fucking like CAD stuff. Like the most basic bitch CAD stuff, because I was doing like voxel art like work at the time. So I'm worthless with that. So obviously I don't have an informed opinion. What's up, son?
Him for misconduct or otherwise, people are going to know you did it. They're not going to know that anything was actually going on. They're just going to know you were the guy that fired Joey Ray's son, and your career is pretty much toast because everybody in the games industry knows each other too. So who's going to actually do anything because Jason's doing nothing? Nobody. They're just going to let him do what he's going to do. And that's exactly what I was told. And that's exactly why Jason was allowed to form his hacks team, which is actually just exploits testing. He was allowed to do whatever he wanted to do because nobody would course correct him.
Okay. Now, what year was this when he came on for the Diablo 3? Was this the first time he was hired in?
This was when he came back. I believe this was, I think, 2011.
So he was useless twice. He was hired again. Imagine your dad being such a fucking giga chad in the office that you can be a fuck up and still be hired, and you would tarnish your dad's legacy because you won't even do the most basic work you're assigned. I actually feel really bad for his dad. I feel really, really bad for his dad because it sounds like his dad is a nice person, but like he just had a shitty son. Which, granted, I think that he probably does share some responsibility for the way that Thor was raised. And the fact that, like, you know, there's something there. There's something there we don't know. There's something there that happened when Jason was a kid that we don't know about that made him like this. Maybe he, like, went to the park and found a dog a little bit too sexy. Maybe he was just a lazy bastard. Maybe that toy came out the factory broken. But there's something there about Joey Ray maybe not being the best dad. And I know the implication is a bad one to make, but how do you end up with two kids who don't wish you happy birthday? Something's going on there. We don't know the full story. It's probably going to come out some point in the future.
2011. Okay, so this is the second round of coming in. You said, to the best of your knowledge, it was as soon as he got hired back in, he was acting exactly like that. He was not...
Yeah.
Okay. With that knowledge, I also just kind of want to touch on, so you say that he kind of created that exploitation team, not because there was a requirement for it, but just because he would not be course corrected to do anything else. And the reason I kind of bring this up, I'm not trying to make Thor look bad intentionally, but I'm targeting the way that you had brought this up about him being and creating that exploit team. It wasn't because he was the best to do it, it's because he's the one that wanted to do it.
My understanding is it's what he wanted to do, and he presented himself as the best candidate to do it. And I am not going to pretend to know the inner workings of how it came to be.
So basically, even then, while browsing Reddit, while not doing his job, Pirate Software was talking himself up. He was talking about how he was hot shit and he should have his own department. Impressive.
Because I was not part of those conversations at all. So I don't know if he actually formed the team or if the QA managers formed the team, including him.
Okay, it might not have been him.
It's weird calling it a hacks team. It's really not hacking. Like, it is a focused automation testing team. That's really what it was.
Use bots to test the reported bugs and exploits.
Yeah, it was automation testing.
Okay. With that, I
Okay.
think we got a good understanding of what that was. I've kind of touched on that nepotism bit myself too, and was like, well, it's not just, oh, his dad, is like up here. It's like, well, it's not that. It's a very, you don't see it, you feel it. That's it. And the person who's, getting it is not going to notice that. So it's interesting. I'm glad we got a bit more insight on that. You guys knew each other clearly as coworkers. Was there anything like, did you guys spend time playing video games or anything like that?
Oh yeah, geez.
Here
a
we
couple
go.
things. So video games. There was actually a charity event on campus. It's an Extra Life charity that every year as Team Zerg, unofficially, Blizzard would put together our own team for donations to raise money for Children's Hospital of Orange County. And we would play.
Okay, objectively a good thing. We can shit on Blizzard for the breast milk thing all we want, but that's objectively a good thing to do, is to go out of your way to raise money for charity. I have nothing wrong with that. I see nothing wrong there.
Games on campus for 24 hours straight. Pirate just happened to participate in this. I was on his team for a league tournament, and he screamed.
For a what tournament?
Pirate just happened to participate in this. I was on his team for a league tournament, and
Did she say... is she saying a league tournament? Also, thanks for the sub. Just a 0. Are you fucking serious? Fuck. Imagine being Blizzard. And you would rather play another company's games than your own for your own hosted charity event. Why wouldn't they just play Heroes of the Storm? Overwatch. Any of the games that Blizzard devved. Oof, imagine the organizers being like, no, we don't want to play a Blizzard game. Let's play League instead. Ooh. Oh. They wanted people to actually show. Okay, that's fair. That's actually fair. That's a fair take. Maybe they played League because they knew people actually cared about League. And so they'd rather have people watch them play League. Because yeah, it's like what Ashura said. Not Ashura, Dog Rock, sorry. If they played HOTS, nobody would have showed up. Objective was to get a lot of people for charity. Any Blizzard game would attract less people. Fair take. Maybe they understood the idea of quantity for charity and the idea that a bunch of people will donate $1 instead of one guy donating $1,000. So it makes more sense to play the most popular game at the time. So maybe there was someone big brain in management who was organizing that, who knew what was going on. Why didn't they play Dota instead? Oh, wait. Taking fucking pot shots at Blizzard for losing out on Dota. Oh, fuck.
he screamed at our team for apparently not gearing correctly to counter the other team because we were just that bad when it's not like we were losing.
I need to know PirateSoftware's rank in League. I need to know his rank. Oh my god, I would love to know what PirateSoftware's rank is if he's screeching at other people about counters in League. Oh my god, I bet he's bronze. I would bet he's fucking bronze. Oh my god. I don't know if anyone knows this, but there's like there's a loser's mentality and a winner's mentality, right? Like this is basic game theory. Like everyone knows this, right? Yeah, let's hold on. Sorry. Let me explain this properly, right? Hold on. Just gonna.
All right, so when it comes to the difference between a winner's mentality and a loser's mentality, it kind of works like this. So, a loser who's playing League of Legends will always be bronze. They will always be bronze because there are 5 people on the team. And whenever they lose, it's everybody else's fault, but not them. They did everything perfectly and amazingly, and these 4 fucking retards did everything wrong. This person who did everything right will then screech at everyone and say this was a 1v9 match.
Whereas, by comparison, if you actually want to be a winner in games like this, what you end up doing is every single match, what you do when you lose is you ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Because you can't change other people, but you can change yourself. And I bet based on how he cheated in the single-player games, it's very likely that he pre-gamed for the competition, right? And it's like he thought of all these things and he like built spreadsheets and shit on how, and he did more work trying to win that competition than he's ever done in a Blizzard office in his life. I'm so willing to bet that's the case. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So severely because we all played League.
Sadly, it doesn't work on League. The ranked rewards people play more than actually skill. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but it does actually work. The second I started getting much better at League than I actually ever was in the past, because I loved playing Braum, right? Braum's my shit. I played support, and every single game I used to bitch and cry about how everyone else's fault it was. The second I started looking at how other people played support, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not covering my ADC. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm firing off my abilities randomly and wasting all my mana. The second I started doing that, I jumped from being fucking worthless to being only 90% worthless. There was a significant change. I swear to God, I got the rarest award in League playing a support. And like you want to know how rare this award is? I think it's only been given out like 4 or 5 times on planet Earth. The ADC said thank you to me after the match.
Regularly. It was not that big of a deal. And we're all sleep deprived. It was very early in the morning after an overnight of playing games. And we're like, seriously, dude, you are raging at everybody. Like our entire team. He was just yelling across the floor at everybody.
It's a charity event, correct?
It was a children's charity event. And we're like, wow, we all play League, but man, like we usually only experience this stuff in League. Most of us like played League with each other at work, but this was our first time actually playing with him, especially at work, you know, so that was...
Imagine screaming at your coworkers over a children's charity thing.
A whole new experience, and the last time literally any of us played any games with him.
She's admitting that he called everyone the N-word. Are you fucking serious? You gotta be joking. Otherwise, you gotta show me evidence of that. Zare, I'm gonna have a hard time believing you.
Ironically, I actually have something here that I wanted to show you. So they give us like
your commitment to play nice for 24 hours with your coworkers enabled young children with medical issues to have a fairer chance at life. This makes it worse. If you're screaming at your coworkers while you're doing a fun event to make things better, my God.
These little cards.
I'm willing to bet that this participation trophy, everyone got one, including him.
Whenever we do cool things at Blizzard. And this was related to the charity event. That was like thanking me for playing nice with my coworkers. And I'm like, oh, wow, he got one of these too. So yeah, I was kind of floored when I was going through.
Of course, that's the participation trophy. I don't think anybody who was ever in a relationship with him ever gets to complain about it. Imagine letting this kind of ghoul fuck you. I mean, fair.
Through some of my work stuff. Before that had happened, and not too long after he had joined the team, I had a roommate who urgently had to move out. She had a family emergency. She could no longer like stay in the apartment. And I was like, that's cool. You know, I'll find another roommate. Panicking. Pirate joined the team, and he apparently urgently needed to move out of his dad's house for some reason. So anyways, I was like, hey, so I barely know you. And of course I asked some people around, you know, like, so is this guy like a psycho? You know, like, is this something reasonable? You know, is he going to trash my place if I ask him, like, you know, if he wants to rent this room from me? Because it was a full, like, bedroom plus his own private bathroom. Like, it was basically a split apartment setup. So,
okay. So you invited him into your house. Come on. You share some responsibility there. Come on. You invited this man to live with you. There's some shared responsibility there.
So it was ideal for renting and sharing. Like, it wouldn't have been weird with Nicole coming over or anything. Like, it would have been fine. And I knew Nicole as well, and she was a perfectly normal human being.
Nicole.
So,
Okay, who the fuck is Nicole?
Being, sorry, who?
Nicole, I believe, is the girl he ended up marrying.
Okay.
Because
Pirate Software was married? Yes, he is. He is or he was? He's divorced. Oh, wait. What am I saying? He mentioned that. He did mention that in the Dr. K interview. He did mention that. Holy shit, that completely skipped out of my head. He was married. Fuck me. This poor woman met his wife. Man, can you imagine? You know how we all feel scammed with how he behaved? Imagine how his wife feels. Or his ex-wife. Jesus Christ. That's what is claimed by Lyric Wolf, I think, but I think that's Lyric being full of shit. I thought that the whole thing between him and Lyric Wolf was a girlfriend or another guy. I didn't know he was married. Well, no, I did know he was married. I just completely forgot about it. I thought that was a different situation. Yeah, he was married before he was with Shay. Can you imagine having a fight and suddenly he grabs the tablet and pulls up? Don't make me laugh like that. No. Thor, did you take a shit in the dinner table?
Well, actually, you see, when there was a shit that appeared on the dinner table, it wasn't actually me. Because you see, the dinner table is here, and as we can see, the shit is angled in this direction, and I'm standing over here, which means that obviously my anus would have blown shit in this direction on the table.
Jesus Christ. Imagine trying to have a fight with this guy and he does that to you. Oh my God. Oh no. No, that poor woman. That fucking poor woman. I think to do in the modern age is to be married too young. Yeah, honestly, I think you got to find the right person. And if you don't, it's better to be alone. I'm gonna be honest with you. You find the wrong person, it'll fuck your life up infinitely more than being alone. Imagine if his ex-wife never got laid again after all this coming out. I mean, look, she's got no direction to go but up, right? After something like that, that poor woman has no direction to go but upwards. You know, get a dog. Live in California. And you know you're doing better. This VTuber who I think really wants to fuck him, and this is her future. Fuck, man. The drama's gonna be wild when that comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, just to confirm, so the timeline events, that charity thing happened a bit after, so you guys had already been rooming together, and then you did not know him prior to him going to work with you?
No,
okay,
not at all.
Cool.
Like, I barely knew who Joey Ray was at the time. Told Pirate, I'm like, hey.
Okay, that's a bad idea. You gotta vet roommates. If you're gonna live with people, you gotta vet roommates.
Are you really looking to rent a place? Because, you know, I have this room open. So he ended up taking me up on the offer. He also had a cat, and I was like, cat non-destructive, right? You know, like I have furniture and stuff because, you know, this is full furnished. And he was like, yeah, totally non-destructive. I'm like, cool, because I love cats. I have no animals. Fine fit. Great. We're on the same team, same overtime schedule. Okay. Amazing.
So he ends up being your roommate. It sounds really good. You know, every bare minimum's met, not crazy girlfriend, a cat that he's saying is not destructive. How does that?
Okay, now we know she's retarded. There is not a single cat on planet Earth that is not destructive. They are cats. They fuck things up. That's just fucking stupid. I'm sorry, that's not Pirate's fault. That's just fucking stupid. Cats are destructive animals. They will fuck something up. Literally, you buy a cat a scratch post so it doesn't fuck things up. You're like, here, kitty, fuck this thing up, so you leave all my other stuff alone.
That end up pulling out? How long were you guys roommates for?
It took days for him to start screaming at people on Eve overnight.
Eve Online.
Okay.
Eve Online.
Yes.
Okay.
The cat, that's totally non-destructive. Straight up destroyed one of the chairs within the first
Okay, sorry, that's your fault. It's a cat. You should have known that was coming.
week. And because it was patent leather, like the polyurethane stuff, he offered to tape it up for me, not replace it, and also tried to.
So he was screaming in the middle of the night playing Eve. Okay.
to make it out like the cat never did anything to the chair, even though it was like raked and like cheese gratered up.
The cat scratched the shit out of the chair. There's no
Scratched the shit out of the chair.
right. You can't do that any other way. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no way around it. Pretty much any time that I came home and went into the kitchen, all the dishes everywhere, like the pans, still food in them on the stove, shit everywhere, food, countertops, everything.
Okay, but okay. They were living in a split apartment. Roommates are messy. I'm sorry. Roommates are always messy, right? Roommates fuck things up all the time. I don't think if he's living in a separate part of the apartment, she doesn't have to go in there. At worst, when he moves out, all you have to say is, yo, clean up your shit. This is starting to sound like it's getting personal and not actually like anything to do with his work stuff. Back when I was living with roommates, we took care of the house. So here's the thing, right? I look at it this way. If you've got a roommate and you're living in a separated apartment and they fuck something of yours up, the right thing to do is to offer to replace the thing they fucked up. So he probably should have replaced the couch. If he's living separated from her, everything happening in that separated part of the house is not her fucking problem, unless he is doing permanent damage to the apartment that the landlord is going to then hold her responsible for. And when he leaves, all you got to be like is, you're cleaning up all your shit before you leave. That's on Thor if you didn't give the cat anything acceptable to scratch. Fair, but cats are still messy, right? Cats still fuck things up. Honestly, though, as well, if you don't have a cat that knows how to take dumps outside, you're going to have a room that stinks like shit, by the way. Unless you clean up that cat litter very, very often. So, man, I would seal the door between me and him if I was living in an apartment with that man. Surprised you're not reacting to the 3-hour-long Pirate Software video that recently dropped. I didn't even know it dropped, so man, but this is just a quick check-in on how my favorite lol cow is doing. And honestly, I was more focused on the Meat Canyon video, which was fucking exceptional. I think he was take the dishes from his room and leave it in the shared space. Okay, that's nasty. That's nasty.
Everywhere. Like, it was not disgusting sty, but it was very just a fucking mess. Okay. And when you're working overtime, you just want to come home, make a quick meal or whatever.
How do you establish to cats that you're the smarter animal? You don't, philosopher. You don't at all. What you do is you establish that you're the stronger animal. You drop kick that motherfucker at least twice a day. You bounce him around the house like it's a fucking basketball. Then the cat will listen to everything you've got to say. No, don't go abuse your animals. Don't do that. Generally speaking, cats are affectionate animals. And if you know how to like be affectionate to them, they'll be affectionate back to you. And then it's just about establishing a pattern. I've had cats since I was a kid, dogs as well, right? I've never had to deal with a cat fucking something up to the point that it's like needed to be replaced.
to do gentle nudging, like, hey, dude, could you like be a bit better about putting away leftovers and stuff, you know, like trying to be diplomatic about the whole thing. And I'm like, the fucking combination of things, right? You know, like the not letting me sleep, the cat destruction, the mess of it all.
That was happening within the first week, all of these things that you're listing.
First week.
Okay, how
And
long
like,
did this go on for?
Well, this made me more suspicious about what else was going on. And I'm not a privacy invader, but he had left the door open to his bathroom. And I like just looked inside because it was in the hallway. It was like a hallway to go through to.
Press X to doubt. There is no I looked and my telescope eyes saw into there. She definitely went in there. She went in there when he wasn't there just to see what that nightmare looked like. Oh, I'm sorry, son. I was just cleaning your room and I found the big titty biker bitch in the magazine that was hidden underneath the mattress. It just so happened to slip out. Come on. Come on. Come on. She went in there.
The bathroom and then his bedroom, which the door was closed, so I did not go in there. And then my bedroom. So like I just turned on the hall light and I peeked in there and the place was a fucking sty. He had never put up a shower curtain in the bathroom. There was like ashy stuff everywhere, like gray ash kind of looking spots everywhere, including like in the shower, on the floors, on the countertops. The toilet it had been a fucking week and I could not understand the state of things. Let me just say that I was very concerned. Okay. And the sum of it all, I was like, this is not going to work out, my guy.
It's called mold. He literally, okay, so he lived in a fungus dump. But did he do permanent damage to the apartment? Because that's where the line is. She didn't need to go back there. She could have sealed off the door between them and never opened that shit. This seems like it's more personal now than it's actually anything that's like, look, I've seen some disgusting fucking people room with each other. The fungus among us. Hey, Thor, we need to talk about the hygiene in your area. P.S. Eat my entire ass. Of course you would say that. Eat my entire unwiped ass, I think you mean, Bestia. So much mold in 1 week. Nah. Yeah, I don't know if I believe this. I don't know if this is starting to sound a lot more personal. I don't know. I'm starting to waver on her credibility now. I feel like, oh man. Does anyone know if this person streams? If this person's got like a public facing job now? Because then she would have an incentive to do this. Careful that I know some guys that would eat entire unwiped girl ass. No, I'm talking about Pirate. She does, they announced at the start of the video. I missed that. Hold on. Okay. Okay, she's look, I'm not saying Pirate's better, but she's losing credibility fast here. Maybe he was going through his Asmongold phase. To be fair, Jay, I lived in an apartment. I lived alone, luckily enough, in a small little apartment, and I was fucking filthy when I did. I've spoken about this before, where I had a system where what I would do is like, I would throw different shit over different shoulders because I knew it would land in specific piles behind me. And then when I needed to clean it out, I would just grab a dustbin bag and run it along the floor, scoop everything up, and then just like drop it outside where it needed to be, like so that a garbage man could collect it, right? I know I was fucking filthy. I used to like sleep on the floor. But at least I did the common courtesy of doing this alone, not with someone else. I would kind of feel like embarrassed if I was doing this with someone else around me. One of my uni roommates had rotting vegetables plus mold growing in his fridge. That's not the worst thing. When it was time for him to move out, he opened the fridge, sprayed some toilet aerosol into the fridge, and moved out. Based. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. I'm not being funny, but who the fuck goes and does a video about their ex-roommate? What level of cancelled is this shit? It's gone beyond a meme now. I feel like look, the beginning parts of this where she's talking about him in the office feels like it's credible stuff to talk about. This kind of feels like I don't know. I don't know if I believe this, and I think this this second half here so far, has made me think that she's got an ulterior motive for doing this because it's going to jump her view account. Hold on. After this, we're going to check her Twitch stream. We're going to look at Sully Gnome, and we're going to see if this has had a bump to her viewership count.
This is not a thing between us because you're a cool dude, but like with the cat who said non-destructive, already destroyed a chair, this is not going to work out. Like, I'm pretty sure that's straight how I played it, but I'm like, the sum of all things, I do not need this apartment destroyed. You know, it's my deposit, my name on this primarily because I was a primary resident, and I do not need destruction of property on my record or any of that. So, like, I could not take that chance. He inelegantly took it as a, all right, fine, I'll move out kind of thing. He did get out of there within the next month. He never paid me back for the chair, by the way. Never did anything about that. And when he finally did move out, I wish I had saved pictures of the state of his room. He had cleaned nothing, so I had to clean everything by hand. There was like, I don't know what on the walls in his bedroom. And
okay, that's fucked up. It's making someone else clean up your mess. But I think the biggest thing I got out of this was he didn't pay for a couch he fucked up. Or his cat fucked up. It just feels really personal, almost on the level of Narc when his ex-best friend did that podcast. It just feels vindictive. This feels like, this doesn't feel vindictive, Soulman, so much as it feels like, especially after about this point here, when she starts becoming, talking about roommates, this feels more like this is about, I can use this as a stepladder to get more attention.
You're just going to have to like take my word for this. I don't know if it was snot or something else just like wiped here and there on the walls, and more of the like random gray stuff, just spots and things. It's very clearly not like smoke ash because there was no odor of it or anything.
Okay.
That is just strange. That sounds like a cryptid.
It was very strange, right? It was disgusting. Like, I was masked up and gloved up and everything.
Bro cummed on the wall. Maybe it was a particularly sexy wall, sure. I just thought about the most fucked up thing, right?
Well, you see, the part of the story that she's actually leaving out is that my bedroom was over here, and her bedroom was over here. And you see, I had placed my bed against the wall over here, and every single time that I jacked off, I sprayed cum into the wall in an attempt to make her sexually attracted to me. It didn't work. Actually, it did. That's why she's so vindictive, because after doing that, I told her she can never have me.
I don't know what he would have left on the wall. I'm trying to think, like, what kind of greasy substance would you have left on the wall of an apartment aside from snot or cum? And I'm not coming up with an answer. I've had some horrible roommates over the years. One of them was an escort, but I wouldn't go on the internet and shame them. Yeah, no, this feels like, I don't know, the second part really feels like she's doing this for attention. Lube. How would you get lube on a wall? Lucille, how would you get lube on a wall? Vape smoke. Maybe. Oil from cooking. Tallow. She said it was near his bedroom, right? I don't know. I don't know. We're not going to know what the mystery substance was.
Everything for all of this because, like, holy, like, gross. Lesson learned. Don't get guys as roommates, especially when you're a girl who gets the icks from this kind of thing.
So that's a lot of that.
And that was just a -10 to her credibility. Did you hear that? Now it's not Pirate Software was horrible. Now it's don't get guys as roommates. This is starting to feel agenda pushing here. This is really starting to feel like this is for attention. This whole bit here could have been left out. I feel like she's losing credibility here hard.
That personal stuff. No, I think that is relevant. I do think so. This was, what, 10 years ago now? 15?
Forever, yeah. Quite some.
So I'm not, again, this isn't to dismiss that. That sounds absolutely horrific. This was some of that old stuff, but I really appreciate getting to hear it. If you have any information, like whether it be like even if you have text messages or emails or anything else to kind of corroborate that time, it'd be awesome. If you don't, that's, we're just taking your testimony.
At least Quinthio is being like, please show me proof before I believe any of this.
Testimony. And I think it's just good to know, have some of that context getting into it.
I'll send you over some of the screenshots that I also
Okay, here we go. Here we go. At least there's some proof. At least there's some fucking proof. Maybe he used lube on the wall to reduce the friction while scraping his forehead. That's the optimal way. But did he do it at a 30-degree angle, Bestia? To be fair, if I were in her shoes and found out from the drama stuff that in a decade he had not gotten better, I'd be furious and vindictive. That's not the part I'm worried about, Dog Rock. I understand that people get emotional and feel vindictive. What I'm looking at this from is she has a Twitch channel. She streams. The most important thing to most streamers is attention from as many people as possible. Do you think you would even know who the fuck this person is if they didn't jump off the back of Pirate Software to shit on him? This whole second part feels like it's completely worthless. This video could have been 10 minutes long. And wait, no, sorry, 11 minutes, 30 seconds long. Everything here was worthwhile. Everything here doesn't feel worthwhile at all. This just feels like I'm going to take advantage of the situation. So when I first met you, I was all blah, blah, blah. Now getting to know you better, I'm all blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the fuck that even means. And today I was tired, so I was all... these are links. All day at work. Is it a bad thing that I want to go to work just to find more shit to fix? "48 mutual friends." Okay, so this is a group chat. "I slept so long, then played WoW and League all day as Heimerdinger," it's one word, motherfucker, "and chilled hard while healing turrets. Define irony. Anna calling me, the apartment manager, irresponsible because he's not making himself easily available. Also, she told me to keep $50 and pay her $450 back from deposit. If she does sign off today, she gets back all the $247 she owes for renting half a month through the end of the day. What does she think? Rent is free. Why did I wait on her instead of getting you in there first? By the way, you signing today is so the manager may not have your key. It was supposed to be Anna's." Okay, so is she shitting on someone else now to Pirate Software at the time? "I have a spare key up in the apartment if he'll let you in. There should be a Lowe's envelope on top of my big dresser on the left wall closet. Keys if you want, blah, blah, blah. Just remind, I'm starting prorated rent on the day you sign deposit." Okay, this is just, place is yours, let me know when, okay. That just seems normal shit. "I'm going to handle it this weekend. Yeah, your friend has a very odd view on reality." Everything after the 11 minute 30 second mark is just fucking up her entire credibility here. She's taking a shit on someone else to Pirate Software. "Was it though? Finding out he's lazy at work isn't exactly a bad thing. I think a lot of us are bad." No, this is the thing, so man. If you're assigned a basic task at work, you can be lazy but still complete the task. It's the way she's talking, he didn't complete the task at all. But the problem is, everything here throws everything here into question. That's the problem. That's the issue. And this seems like a situation where it's just two shitty people going at each other. Also, who tries and organizes renting a place over Discord, especially over 10 years ago? No idea.
Also sent to some of my other coworkers, because like when all the pirate stuff like really started stirring, like we started sending stuff to each other.
Yeah, this looks like WhatsApp or iPhone or something. This doesn't look like Discord to me. Wanted to hold on, we missed one. What was that previous one? So I only owe you 71 more bucks. No, as I said up front, you pay when you move in for a full month. Since you haven't stayed a full month in October, the time from signing up to the end of the month is what you are charged on November 1st. It's like flip-flopping the rent, full month for partial month stay, partial month for full month stay. This is what all apartments do. You owe me $200 for the current month. Rent is paid before the time you stay there. So partial month $371 is due November 1st. Okay.
To each other. One of our
Wanted to inform you that I will be moving out on the 26th of this month as I've now received confirmation on a new place. Okay, thank you for the notice. I haven't been saying anything because I didn't want to force you out. Frowny face, I wasn't sure how long it would take for you to find the right place. I know the terms seem bad, but I really didn't have any issues with you personally. I didn't have any issues with you personally. And now she's talking hot shit about him 10 years later. Everyone was a roach in that household. I'm not seeing... This doesn't make Pirate Software look worse to me. We already knew he was a piece of shit. This is just making her look like a piece of shit alongside him. Am I taking fucking crazy pills here? That she just looks like an insane person next to him? Your cat destroyed my chair and the wall is soaked in cum, but I have no issue with you. Give me money. Exactly. Exactly. Standard Blizzard employee behavior. That's what I see.
Our other friends, he's another person that played League with Jason at one point. Apparently also got raged at. But this guy is a master troll. This guy was also one of my best friends. Would print out a photo of Edward Cullen's face and tape it to the bottom of Pirate's mouse so that whenever he would come back to his desk, he would wiggle his...
Okay, I've done that. I have done that. That was a common trolling tactic a few years ago. I remember when my mom took me to her office and she left me alone, and I spent a solid hour and a half finding the opaque sticky tape and going to every single office worker's mouse and taping the bottom of the sensor on the bottom of their mouse. Like, that's very common. Like, okay, I'm willing to believe that part's probably real. And you know what the funny part is? I'm willing to bet she's about to say he was a screeching animal or whatever the fuck about it. You know what happened to my mom's co-workers when they found out I did that? They called me a little shit and they laughed about it. But how old were you when you did it? I think I was 15. Somewhere around there. 14 to 15.
his mouse to try to wake his PC, and he just couldn't wake his PC. So he'd have to flip his mouse over and be greeted with Edward Cullen's face. And you could just hear him scream across the floor.
It's good to know. So this wasn't like, you know, he swooned everybody with his charisma. Because like, I'm not...
You know, I've never heard anyone do that. Every single time someone's done the tape trick, they go, oh, that's why. And then they just have a little chuckle and move on. I've never heard someone screech over something that small. I'm willing to believe that's bullshit.
I'm not gonna lie, like the internet understands that. A lot of people are, you know, he was in the good graces of most of the internet literally just a year ago. But you're saying, so even with that, and I think it makes sense based on his quote unquote work ethic or lack thereof, there were people that already were like, he was just kind of irritating.
And I feel like this is why a lot of people aren't really talking about him, because like there's several camps of us. Either people just legitimately didn't know him at the time, didn't care to know him, don't remember him, aren't even aware he exists at this time. He was on no one's radar. There's no reason for him to be on anyone's radar right now. They have no clue who he is. There's people like me who had to work directly with him and are just so raged that they don't want to talk about him. There are his few friends who like may speak.
Oh, that just sent a red flag off in my head. I want to see if you can catch it.
And are just so raged that they don't want to talk about him. There are.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that?
Legitimately didn't know him at the time, didn't care to know him, don't remember him, aren't even aware he exists at this time. He was on no one's radar. There's no reason for him to be on anyone's radar right now. They have no clue who he is. There's people like me who had to work directly with him and are just so raged that they don't want to talk about him. There are his...
I want to see if you caught that. I want to see if anyone caught that. She's not contradicting herself. I'll play it again for you.
At this time. He was on no one's radar. There's no reason for him to be on anyone's radar right now. They have no clue who he is. There's people like me who had to work directly with him and are just so raged that they don't want to talk about him.
Okay, let me spell it out for you. Let me translate this. Do you see it now? Let me play it again for you.
Exists at this time. He was on no one's radar. There's no reason for him to be on anyone's radar right now. They have no clue who There's people like me who had to work directly with him and are just so raged that they don't want to talk about him. There are.
Do you hear it now? Don't try corroborate my story with anyone else, because no one wants to talk about it, only me. No, and don't worry, everyone else doesn't remember him. That sent shivers up my spine, because I cannot tell you how many times I heard that fucking sentence. And every single time I went to try and corroborate the same story with someone else, I got an entirely different account of what happened. One more time.
Exists at this time. He was on no one's radar. There's no reason for him to be on
He
anyone's
was on no one's radar, so don't go asking them.
radar right now. They have no clue who he is. There's people like me who had to work directly with him
People like me, there are other people who work directly with him,
and are just so raged that they don't.
but they won't talk about it, so don't try corroborate my story. You grabbed onto a sinking ship, and now I smell the bullshit, and most people are gonna, you know what, I can tell already no one's gonna smell this bullshit. They're just like, oh, Pirate Software is such a bad person. Oh, I'm so sorry for what happened to you. Bullshit. Pixel didn't happen. Fuck Pirate Software's behavior and fuck your behavior.
Don't want to talk about him. There are his few friends who may speak positively about him, but we don't really hear anything from them.
And then his friends would speak positively about him.
But then there's also the few people who want to speak out, but they don't because they're afraid of the repercussions. And I feel like that's the majority of the people that I know too, because games industry is so small. A lot of people are still in games. So they don't want to talk about these things because, again,
don't bother talking to anyone else because we all know each other and they don't want to get blacklisted. Yeah.
they don't want
bullshit.
things to come back to them.
Is it even a matter of, so does Jason's dad, does he have this undying love and adoration for his son that is going to impact someone's work history? Is it just the fact that you would speak about someone's son?
No. So here's the thing about Joey Ray. I am not in his DMs at all about any of this because I respect him and I know, at least in the past, about how he's felt about this thing. His entire mentality has been, if you have a problem with Jason, take it up with Jason. He doesn't want to deal with any of that. He's not the kind of person who's going to come to his rescue.
That sounds like the healthiest way for nepotism to be dealt with. That sounds like, Joey Ray sounds like, yeah, you shouldn't be going to me because that's how you propagate.
The repercussions being 100K views on a YouTube video. Yes, that's literally it. We don't know what's true or not, basically. No, we know only one thing that's true. And it's that he fucked up a couch because it was in the messages talking about how you owe me a new couch. That's it. Now, think about how genius of a strategy this is that she pulled off. She made a bunch of fucking claims with zero evidence, jumped on a bandwagon that Thor 100% deserves for his behavior, used one piece of evidence about a fucked up couch, and everything else she spoke about shows no evidence for it. But the one thing she said was true. So you're more likely to believe all the other bullshit she spills. Do you trust me? My sources, I made it the fuck up. Quite literally. Oh my God. I'm all for hating on someone for doing bad things, but bad roommate over 10 years ago, come on. You know what's really funny about you saying that, Saw Man? I'm willing to bet that any normal person who wasn't doing this for clout would probably talk about a story that happened 10 years ago in a state of amusement. They wouldn't be talking like he's the devil. They would be thinking it's funny. They would be thinking it's entertaining. They were like, haha, remember that time when there was that guy coming on the walls? Man, that was so fucking weird. And they'd be laughing about it. Right? You look back on fucked up stories and you think they're entertaining because they're memorable, whether they were good or bad. Because you're around to talk about them. This right here sounds like a bunch of fucking bullshit, aside from maybe a fucked up couch.
get this. So I guess I was more asking, like, the people that shied away, is it simply because they knew that Thor was, you know, the son of him? Or was it because, like, there were also consequences because he was, was he protecting Thor in any step? Or was it just the fact that they were, you know, father and son?
A lot of people that aren't speaking up aren't doing it because they're afraid of Thor's followers, actually. They're afraid of internet repercussion.
Hold on. I just gotta fix this video quickly.
And internet people coming for them.
It has nothing to do with the dad.
Like, legitimately.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with his dad. Because his dad, like, especially anybody that knew him, like, at Blizzard while they were there, and those of us, like, who know him a little bit better outside of Blizzard, he's normal. He's just a dude. Like, he happens to have been an executive who worked at Blizzard forever. He's a cool guy. Don't get me wrong. But he's not somebody who's going to mess with people.
I know they're not, Sasha, but that's not the point.
He's not like that. He
Don't
would
I'm
never
actually
do
me
like
here.
that.
I just wanted to include that last part there
Holy
because I
fuck.
think it's important to make a distinction that it wasn't like, you know, Joey Ray going out of his way to smite down anybody that would talk badly or, you know, report his son. I just really wanted to make sure that I was representing him in the same way that she was describing him. And just to reiterate on a final note, like, yeah, this stuff happened back in like 2011. Now, Pirate was like 24, 25 at around this time. So there's still
2011. So you're telling me this has happened 14 fucking years ago. And she remembers it with perfect clarity. And she's definitely not filling in details because human memory is just perfect like that. And she definitely didn't just come out and say all of this shit right now because she knew it would get her attention. Bunch of fucking snakes. Just because Pirate's one doesn't mean she's not one. Everything she said, I want to see proof for. I want to see at least 2 other people corroborate that story. To be honest, somebody would be an asshole to me 10 years. I would love to jump on the... I wouldn't be resentful. I think it would be funny. Most people would think this is entertaining and hilarious that you're not currently in that situation.
still think, you know, brain was pretty well developed at this point. You know, maybe he has changed over the last, like, truly over a decade now. I think probably the most significant part of this video is just kind of pushing back on his claims that he didn't get the second job at Blizzard through nepotism, when it looks very clearly, based off of her testimony, like that's exactly what happened. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and look for a Mudahar video coming out tomorrow. That's it. I'll see you guys later. Adios. Peace. Bye.
Not a bad video by Quinn. I think the most valuable parts of this are probably 11 minutes, 30 seconds. My opinion hasn't changed on that. And you know what the worst part about this is? The fucking second I say some shit, like I don't trust anything she said, because the second half of this video, a bunch of fucking retards are going to say shit like, oh, you're defending Pirate Software. No. Just because one person's a piece of shit doesn't mean another person's not a piece of shit.